If you're over 60, there are 4 habits you might be doing every single morning that could be silently, systematically destroying your kidneys. My name is Dr. Robert Clark, and in over 30 years of practicing medicine, I have seen far too many wonderful people, seniors who have worked hard their whole lives, discover their kidney problems when it's already dangerously late. The tragedy is that in many cases, it could have been prevented by changing a few simple routines. Stay with me, because habit number 3 is the one almost everyone gets wrong, and it could be the most critical one for you to change starting tomorrow. Think of this not as a lecture, but as a crucial conversation about protecting your future, one morning at a time. Your kidneys are 2 of the hardest working organs in your body, filtering all of your blood every 30 minutes. They don't ask for much in return, but they do ask for our care and attention, especially as we age. Let's make sure we're giving it to them. First, let's talk about the very first thing you do when you wake up. For millions, it's reaching for that comforting, aromatic cup of coffee or tea. But in doing so, you could be making a profound mistake. The first habit that damages kidneys is starting your day dehydrated. After sleeping for 6, 7, or even 8 hours, your body is naturally in a state of dehydration. You haven't had a drop of water. Your organs, and especially your kidneys, are waking up thirsty. When you introduce a diuretic like coffee or caffeinated tea as the very first liquid, you're essentially telling your already parched kidneys, okay, now get rid of even more water. This forces them to filter your blood when it's thicker and more concentrated, putting them under immense strain. Imagine trying to clean a muddy filter with just a trickle of water. It's inefficient and damaging. Scientific studies have shown that even mild dehydration can temporarily reduce your kidney's filtration efficiency by up to 20%. Over time, this daily stress adds up, contributing to a gradual decline in function. The urine your body produces becomes highly concentrated with waste products, which can lead to the formation of painful kidney stones, and place a heavy burden on the delicate filtering units called nephrons. Let me tell you about a patient of mine, a gentleman named George, a retired history teacher in his late 60s. George came to me feeling perpetually fatigued. His lab work showed slightly elevated creatinine levels, a key indicator that the kidneys are not filtering waste as well as they should be. He swore he was healthy, he walked every day and ate reasonably well. But when I asked about his morning routine, he told me, "Doc, I can't function without my 2 cups of black coffee first thing. Water comes later, maybe." He was starting every single day by putting his kidneys in a state of distress. I challenged him to a simple experiment. For 1 month before his coffee, he had to drink a 16-ounce glass of plain water. He could even put a slice of lemon in it. He was skeptical, but he agreed. 3 months later, at his follow-up appointment, not only had his creatinine levels improved significantly, but he told me his energy was higher than it had been in years. That one simple change gave his kidneys the hydration they were crying out for. So I ask you, what is the very first liquid that passes your lips in the morning? Is it a gift of hydration for your hard-working organs, or is it a demand for them to work harder with less? The action step here is profoundly simple yet powerful. Before any other beverage, drink 16 to 20 ounces, that's about 2 glasses, of water. Put a glass by your bedside the night before so it's the first thing you see. This single act rehydrates your system, helps flush out the toxins that have accumulated overnight, and prepares your kidneys for the work of the day ahead. It's the kindest thing you can do for them. Now that we've hydrated our kidneys, let's talk about the food we give them. The second habit, and this one is incredibly insidious, is falling into the high-sodium breakfast trap. Many of you are likely thinking, "But Dr. Clark, I don't even use the salt shaker in the morning." And I believe you. The problem is that food manufacturers have hidden dangerously high levels of sodium in nearly all of our common breakfast foods, even the ones marketed as healthy. That box of cereal, the instant oatmeal packet, the breakfast sausage, and even that hearty whole wheat bread can be loaded with salt. Think of it this way. Excess sodium is a double-edged sword for your kidneys. First, it forces your body to retain water to dilute the salt, which increases your blood volume. This drives your blood pressure up, putting immense strain on the delicate blood vessels throughout your body, especially the tiny ones inside your kidneys. Second, your kidneys are then forced to work in overdrive to filter out this excess sodium and fluid. It's like running an engine in the red day after day. For a senior whose kidney function may already be declining naturally, this daily assault can accelerate damage significantly. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day, but for seniors, especially those with or at risk for high blood pressure, the ideal limit is closer to 1,500 milligrams. Yet, the average American consumes over 3,400 milligrams. A huge portion of that often comes from the very first meal of the day. I remember a patient, a wonderful woman named Brenda, who came to me with uncontrolled high blood pressure despite being on medication. Her ankles were swollen, a classic sign that the body is retaining fluid, and her kidney numbers were starting to creep up. She was frustrated. "I'm doing everything right," she said. "I switched from bacon to turkey sausage, and I have my whole grain toast every morning." On the surface, it sounded healthy, so I asked her to bring in the packages for the food she ate. We sat down and became sodium detectives. Her 2 turkey sausage patties contained 550 milligrams. Her 2 slices of healthy bread contained 400 milligrams. The small amount of cottage cheese she had on the side, another 350 milligrams. Before 9 a.m., Brenda was consuming over 1,300 milligrams of sodium, nearly her entire recommended daily limit in one meal. She was shocked and felt betrayed by the food labels. You are not just fighting your habits, you are fighting a food industry that prioritizes shelf life and flavor over your long-term health. The good news is you can win this fight. The action step is to take control of your breakfast and aim to keep its sodium content under 300 milligrams. How do you do that? By choosing whole, unprocessed foods. Instead of processed breakfast meat, have 2 fresh eggs, which contain only about 140 milligrams of sodium combined. Instead of instant oatmeal packets, cook plain rolled oats and add your own flavor with cinnamon, berries, and a handful of walnuts. This breakfast contains less than 10 milligrams of sodium. A smoothie made with plain Greek yogurt, spinach, a banana, and some almond milk is another fantastic low-sodium option. Have you ever taken a moment to read the sodium content on your bread or cereal box? I urge you to do it. The information is there, and it can empower you to make a change that your kidneys will thank you for every single day. All right, let's address the habit I mentioned at the very beginning. Of all the innocent mistakes I see my patients make, this is the one that causes the most direct and sometimes sudden damage to the kidneys. It's taking certain medications and supplements, particularly NSAIDs, on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. NSAID stands for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. This is your ibuprofen, your naproxen, your Advil, Motrin, and Aleve. Millions of people rely on these to manage the aches and pains of arthritis, a stiff back, or a headache. They pop 1 or 2 with a sip of water before they even have breakfast, thinking they're getting ahead of the pain. But what they don't realize is they are potentially shutting down a critical safety mechanism that protects their kidneys. To understand why this is so dangerous, let me give you a simplified look at how your kidneys work. Your kidneys have a built-in defense system to ensure they always get enough blood flow. This system relies on compounds called prostaglandins, which act like little messengers that tell the blood vessels leading to the kidneys to stay open and relaxed. NSAIDs, the very drugs you take to block pain and inflammation, work by blocking the production of these prostaglandins. So when you take an ibuprofen, you're not just blocking pain signals, you're turning off your kidney's protective shield. Now picture the perfect storm that happens in the morning. First, as we've discussed, you're already dehydrated, so blood flow is already a bit sluggish. Second, many seniors are on blood pressure medications, like ACE inhibitors or ARBs, which already alter the pressure dynamics within the kidneys. Then you add the third element, an NSAID on an empty stomach, which slams the door on those protective prostaglandins. This trifecta can cause a sudden severe reduction in blood flow to the kidneys, an event we doctors call acute kidney injury, or AKI. It's a medical emergency that can, in some cases, lead to permanent damage. I'll never forget a patient of mine named Frank. Frank was a retired firefighter, tough as nails, who lived for his garden. His knees and back bothered him, so every morning he'd wake up and, like clockwork, take 2 ibuprofen so he could work in his yard pain-free. One summer morning, he called me, his voice filled with a fear I'd never heard from him before. His legs were so swollen he couldn't get his shoes on, and he felt profoundly weak. He was rushed to the hospital, where he was diagnosed with severe AKI. His morning pill habit, combined with the mild dehydration from working in the sun, had brought his kidneys to the brink of failure. Thankfully, we were able to reverse the damage, but it was a terrifying wake-up call for him. The action step here is non-negotiable. Never, ever take an NSAID on an empty stomach. Always take it with food. The food acts as a buffer, slows the absorption of the drug, and can help mitigate some of the harsh effects. The same principle applies to certain supplements. Taking large, concentrated doses of minerals like calcium or fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin D all at once in the morning can create a huge workload for your kidneys. It's far better to take these with a meal and, if possible, spread them throughout the day. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about the best way to take your specific medications and supplements. Are you taking a pill every morning without thinking about what it's doing to your kidneys? Please, for their sake, make sure you're protecting them by giving them the buffer of food. We've covered hydration, nutrition, and medication. The fourth and final morning habit is about something just as vital: movement. The habit to break is remaining sedentary immediately after waking. I see this all the time. You get out of bed, perhaps grab your water and your low-sodium breakfast, and then you settle into your favorite armchair with the newspaper or the television for an hour. It feels like a gentle way to ease into the day. But for your kidneys, that prolonged stillness is a period of stress. Think of your circulatory system as a river. Overnight, as your heart rate slows, that river becomes calm and the current becomes sluggish. When you wake up, your kidneys, which are like a sophisticated filtration plant on the banks of that river, are waiting for the morning surge. They need a strong, steady flow of blood to do their job effectively, filtering out waste, balancing electrolytes, and managing your blood pressure. When you remain seated, you're essentially keeping the river's flow at its overnight low. This sluggish circulation means less oxygen and fewer nutrients are delivered to the delicate filtering units in your kidneys, impairing their function. Research has consistently shown a link between a sedentary lifestyle and an increased risk of chronic kidney disease. And that risk is not just about the total hours you sit in a day, it's also about breaking up long periods of stillness, especially that critical first hour after waking. I had a patient, a lovely woman named Eleanor, a retired librarian who cherished her quiet mornings. She would read for a solid 90 minutes every morning before starting her day. She was having issues with fluid retention, and her blood pressure was always highest in the morning. Her GFR, a measure of kidney function, was showing a slow but steady decline year after year. We talked about her diet and her medications, which were all in good order. The missing piece was movement. Her body was staying in a state of near rest for almost 10 hours straight. The idea of morning exercise was daunting to her. "Dr. Clark," she said, "I'm not going to a gym before breakfast." I told her she didn't have to. We created what we called her 5-minute kidney wake-up routine. While her kettle was boiling for her tea, she would march in place. Just a gentle high-knee march for 2 minutes. Then, holding onto the counter for support, she would do 10 calf raises. Finally, she would do a series of gentle shoulder rolls and arm circles. That was it. 5 minutes. It wasn't about sweating or getting out of breath. It was about sending a signal to her entire circulatory system. The day has begun. Let's get moving. Within 2 months, she reported feeling less stiff. Her morning blood pressure readings had come down by an average of 10 points, and at her 6-month checkup for the first time in 3 years, her kidney function had stabilized. The action step for you is just as simple. You don't need a home gym. Just find 5 to 10 minutes to break the stillness. Walk around your home, do some gentle stretches, march in place while the coffee brews. Put on some music and sway back and forth. This simple act of waking up your circulation is a profound gift to your kidneys, ensuring they get the robust blood flow they need to keep you healthy. What could you do for just 5 minutes tomorrow morning to wake up your body? We've covered a lot of ground, so let's quickly recap the 4 morning habits that could be harming your kidneys and the simple changes you can make starting tomorrow. First, stop starting your day dehydrated. Before that coffee, before that tea, give your body the gift of 16 ounces of pure water. Second, escape the high-sodium breakfast trap. Become a sodium detective, read the labels, and choose whole foods like eggs and plain oats over processed cereals, breads, and meats. Third, handle your medications with care. Never take NSAIDs like ibuprofen on an empty stomach, and talk to your doctor about the best timing for all your pills and supplements. And fourth, break the cycle of morning stillness. Wake up your circulation with just 5 to 10 minutes of gentle movement before you settle in for the day. I know this can feel like a lot of information, and the idea of changing long-held habits can be overwhelming. Please do not let that stop you. The goal here is not perfection, it's progress. I want you to choose just one of these habits to focus on this week. Just one. Perhaps it's putting a glass of water by your bed tonight, or maybe it's deciding to have eggs for breakfast tomorrow instead of cereal. Small, consistent changes are what lead to profound, lasting improvements in your health. You are in the driver's seat, and every positive choice you make is a step toward protecting these vital organs. Your kidneys will thank you for it. If you found this information helpful, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. In my next video, I'm going to reveal the silent but equally dangerous evening habits that could be damaging your kidneys while you sleep. You won't want to miss it. Thank you for taking this time for your health today.